tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah. Excuse me, like I have no manners. The man of my city, you're mapped up. So many are critics, but jealous, I'm litty. They numbers do not match the standards. So I'm from a gritty on China's. T'Challa, I'm really a panther. I don't want your pity, I'm ready, let's get it. I'm about to make this shit an anthem. Let me for the body like, let's go. You lanes really get me upset though. T-Rex such a nigga with snatch yo. I want all the smoke like petrol. Gas to the max on day, whoa. Bad shit get trash on set, bro. Psycho, they call me your idol. Won't watch you do that slow, I'ma answer to the bio. Tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. No, tell her how far I'll go, so they better lie low. Mind racing, I'm crazy, I'm just a psycho. Yeah, 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 psycho. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Get your words away, do not waste your time. Lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears 5 Arena Clash here. Toby Campbell, joined with Fru, as always. And we're into week 3. Finally, we have some more games back in store. I've been looking forward to this one, Alex. Yep. We've had some landslide victories for a lot of these teams, but I think today we've had a little bit of rescheduling.
That's true.
And I think we're going to have the closest games yet and some of the top teams actually playing today, Alex.
Yep, we have second and third coming up for you in that first game of the day. Clyde, obviously a very good team. We've heard all about them, and Craig Avon as well coming in as that challenger team as well. So it is going to be a fantastic matchup, that's for sure.
Yep, cannot wait to get into that. Let's should we look at the tables? Let's get into it,
then.
Alex. Let's look at the tables that we've had dealt to us so far. These teams have been playing out their minds. We have Group 1A in front of us. The top half, we have the Tyneside Guardians. We'll be seeing some more of them later. We have the Spartans, Swarm, 3-0, 3-0, 2-0. It'll be Guardians and Swarm, actually, the second game. We'll get to that shortly. Spectres, 2-1. Bears, 2-1 as well. So we see some of these teams actually getting wins and losses now as things develop, Alex. And the second half as well of this table do feature some teams with wins and losses as well, Alex. And of course, well, actually saying that in Group 1B, it's all losses. Centurions, Rams, Leviathans, and Steelers, all with losses to their name. They'll be looking to get some wins under their belt. Yeah,
definitely. That top half of the group is definitely going to get shaken up today. Definitely Manchester having games against both the other top two teams in this Group A is gonna be an upset for a couple, and maybe someone can overthrow that Manchester team as that number one. Well, in our opinion, the number one seeded team here.
Definitely the opinion of both of us, I think, and many esports fans familiar with that roster. Of course, we'll be getting into that in great detail, but let's look at the second group, shall we? Vikings leading the way, 3-0. Claymores, who we will be seeing, I believe. Kestrels, Pirates, and Saints. We saw Saints last week, 1-1 their current record. Of course, Cardiff, my team location, if you will, from Wales, one of the few teams, I think maybe even the only team from Wales. So, yeah, we're looking out for them in the future, at least for me, in the shining red there, Alex. So let's look at the second half of the second group, shall we? I believe there are more teams with wins and losses to their belt, and that is the Nighthawks 1-2, Lionhearts 1-2 as well. Another team that's been looking pretty good in terms of the round count for their matches. It's not been a landslide for them in any of their matches, I don't believe. And then we have, of course, the Smugglers and the Invincibles on 0-2 and 0-3. I don't think there's not many surprises actually in the record when we look at the teams.
I mean, you say that. Surprising for me, at least seeing the original roster for the Lionhearts. I am surprised to see them in the bottom half of the table, but I believe they have missed a week, so that
makes sense.
That might make a little bit of an impact. I would have expected them to be up there with Clyde and with Craigavon as well. So otherwise, though, we are going to get to see second versus third.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Actually, we looked at the Lionhearts roster, and on paper you'd think they'd be doing better. Of course, I think they did not play 1 week, and that's really shifted their record to more loss than wins. But none of that. Let's look into the next game, or the game that we'll be seeing first in the broadcast today, and the respective rosters. Clyde Claymores versus the Craigavon Kestrels. I think this is Scotland versus Ireland, actually, Alex. So it's an interesting fight, and an interesting affair, shall we say, location-wise. But look at that roster for the Claymores, Alex. Something we're very familiar with. We have Savvy, Skillsy, Solidarity, Lazarus, Arganize, love that name, Scrubs versus the Kestrels. We have Lord Azen, Shadow Master, Fugal, Dino, we have Forker, and we have Zenti. I think we're a lot more familiar with the roster of Claymores. A lot of familiar players actually on that one, Alex.
Oh, 100%. I mean, former teammate, Solidarity.
Yeah.
Coined the Solidarity side role.
Actually.
Yeah, that's very true, actually, at different points in time. So yeah, very, very familiar with Danny there. And the team around him as well. Veteran team. They're, in my opinion, one of the most experienced teams in this clash, alongside Manchester. And honestly, I'd be very surprised to see them coming out with the loss here. They are my favourites for this matchup.
Absolutely. I think you have to go with them for the favourites, Alex.
Yep.
But you'd hope, looking at these two teams record-wise, where they stand in the tables, that this could be a bit different.
That's true.
From perhaps previous weeks. Maybe they do go ahead, Claymores, and take this victory comfortably. But it's, we're hoping at least, and we're assuming that it's not going to be as much of a landslide like a 5-0. But only time will tell, I guess.
Well, talking of 5-0s, Craigavon last week they did manage to take out the Bristol Smugglers 5-0. Yeah. They had a little bit of a tougher game against London, but in the end of things, they are sat up there. They are 2-1 at the moment, looking to make it 3-1. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we
will. I think, focusing on that first game, shall we? We've teamed with Solidarity, of course. I mean, my inkling is that he'll perhaps be the IGL. He's a very assertive person.
Yep.
I'm sure you can say the same thing. And he's got an extreme amount of experience, hasn't he? Like,
yes.
he's had a bit of a gap over the years with the next-gen Gears of Wars, if you will, with War Cancel and whatnot. He's much more of a veteran, old-school player. But I think he's got a lot of new players with him who will look up to him.
Yep.
And I think he's going to be a very important factor actually going into this game.
Yep. Lazarus as well is a very good player on that team, has been around for a long, long time, very skilled player as well.
Yep.
Just had news that the first map going to be Asylum.
Yeah, so the most predictable map, I think. Yeah, the most common map in esports, I would argue, for Gears of War, but very traditional.
Yep.
3 lanes, I think that will suit, Danny, bringing him up against Solidarity pretty well. Back to basics, play the numbers. I think that's kind of what Danny's good at, is playing the basics, playing the time-proven strategies of Gears of War, and I think that will be his main key to victory, if you will, as an IGL.
Yep.
In this game. I guess looking at the opposition, Alex, clearly we favour the Claymores rather. Do you think there's any advice that we could give them at this point in time as to how to approach this game? It's the underdogs.
It's definitely a difficult one. Honestly, you got to be looking at that railway section of the map, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We saw Manchester do very good things down there, and it's all about communication, right? It's about talking to one another, about making sure that you're not getting crossfired out, making sure that you're calling out when people are pushing through the mid lane, pushing across the top, because there are so many different angles that you can get. Practice teams will definitely be making use of them, shooting through little crevices in the walls, through holes, and there are many little ways that you can kind of push an advantage in this map.
Yeah.
That for me at least is one of the main things that they're going to be having to look at here, and obviously on that home street as well. That's the street up top, across that bridge in the first half. That is going to be very, very difficult for anyone to hold off against this Clyde team. If they can put a strong player there, win that 1v1, there's opportunity there for them to perhaps get that home hill street captured up and maybe gain a few points that way as well.
Yep, and that's kind of the important factor in this, is it is a best of 1 series, right? Typically we do have a best of 3. For this, it's a best of 1, and so really your performance on a map is crucial, and I think you nailed it there. That home street, I think that's like the last bastion of hope. If you lose the initial down on that train tracks where typically most numbers go, you cannot lose that home street at that point. And we've seen a lot of these sweeps, a lot of games where, Swarm, for example, we saw in week number 1, they were really good in winning in both areas consecutively. Hey, if you're going to lose the train tracks, make sure you don't lose up top as well.
Yep.
And if that's consistently happening, you're losing that basic initial down the middle onto that train tracks, maybe just focus on home street at that point in time.
And that's a really good kind of segue actually into what I was wanting to add on to this is, right, if you're starting to lose that train tracks area, that railway, and you want to move things up, place a weapon at the other side of the map, force it over to the other side and change the fight up, right? You have the opportunity to do that in escalation. You can dictate where the play happens by placing those big weapons in key locations. I'm looking at the teams to do that.
Absolutely. Just to let everybody know, I know we've been filming for a while, the game is just about starting up. We had a little bit of a disconnect, so a little bit of a delay. But I guess something we should break down now. We've talked about the teams, we've talked about the map, Alex. Maybe a little bit of an introduction to escalation for any new fans out there to esports who are new to Gears of War. What are we looking at in escalation?
We're looking at teams, it's a 3-ring game mode, so we're either looking to dominate by capturing all 3 rings at once, looking for a points victory by reaching that 250 points. Every ring capture gains you a point per second, or eliminate the other squad completely and, get them out of the zone. You can win by killing all 5 too.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Savvy's just got chainsawed on the very home street we were talking about earlier. And in fact, it's a very good showing to kick things off here. The Kestrels over at the B Hill winning that initial. Meanwhile, it is Skillsy who does eventually win on that home street. I believe he's picked up 1 elimination, actually. Perhaps a little bit of help from his teammates. Maybe even a flank through the middle there.
Yep.
In order to get relative control just for a little bit.
Just for a little bit. I was actually playing against Skillsy last night. That's how relevant these players are. So, definitely a good name. DVL, a big organization, I guess, in Gears of War, big content team, and they put up some great content as well. So good to see Skillsy involved in this tournament, and doing well as well by the looks of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes another chainsaw in the back, for Solidarity is quick to move and win that 1v against Dino. Finally, the COG side do start picking up quite a few eliminations actually, 4 to their name. They get control of the B Hill, already looking to overextend.
Yeah, and this is where an organized team, team that are communicating, will be able to push their advantage. We do see Krago6 get that 1 kill. Savvy's going to clean him up there, and the domination is going to tick in behind him. It is Skillsy that's managed to get hold of that C Hill. This will be the first round locked in for Clyde.
Yeah, there you have it, 1 minute 34. It wasn't the initial victory for the Claymores that done it, it was the retake, and boy did they execute on that very, very well. Straight away, you can see this one picking up eliminations left, right and center, but In the end, the shotguns of COG prevailed. Solidarity, perhaps the IGL we're assuming for this team. He's going to be placing the first weapon. Of course, his team won that round, so they get first choice as to how they can paint the picture of the map, if you will, with the power weapons. Just flashbangs going down. I expect more of the same, actually. Maybe even a complete mirror from Belong Craig here. Flashbang going down as well. So no surprises there, Alex.
Yep, no surprise. This is standard play for Asylum. Build up that bridge side, because then you're ready for when a big power weapon may get placed up there, right? You can go up there with the shot grenades, you can go up there with the incendiaries, and then it's kind of just general play here. No surprise there. On board with Solidarity, he's pushing this mid street very, very quick. Looks like there's going to be no defense here, actually, from Craighaven. They've decided to push across top, change the strategy here. I kind of like it. We are going to see Craig 2 get down. Dinosaur falls as well, so a 5v3 momentarily now. Solidarity getting some good shots in. Straight to the back of Savvy, actually. Savvy is going to get picked up in the end. Domination ticking. It looks like Skillsy's actually got behind him. This is a very, very good play, actually, by Clyde. What they've done there is they've realized that there is no route through the mid. There's no defense through the mid there from Craighaven, and they've managed to loop around the back of Craighaven, have Clyde, and picked up that third ring as well, locked in the domination.
Yeah, excellently done, actually, from the COG side. This was something we were talking about, actually, is if you're losing the initial, the underdog here in the form of the Swarm side, the Kestrels, just go all in on a different strategy, and they literally did that by playing home street. The issue was they just weren't able to get enough eliminations and such a bold approach where they eventually got pinched, right? And Skillsy flanked and domination came through. So hopefully they'll be looking to improve on that if they do try that unorthodox strategy again. For weapon placements this round is shot grenade on both sides.
This time they've got to be careful, because if they try that bold push across the bridge once again against the shot grenades, it could be shut down very, very quickly. The shot grenade, fantastic area denial tool, and with such thin routes there,
yeah,
you got to be very, very careful.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. On board with Savvy, he's checking home street, nothing there. So immediately they know that the opposition in the form of the Kestrels are going to be going for the B hill. They're not down the middle. Agonize picking up one, Solidarity picking up another, and straight off the bat, the initial does go the way of Clyde Claymores. This is the performance you expect to see from this caliber of players. As they pick up yet again another elimination. I think, yeah, they'll be looking for the triple cap immediately.
You'd expect so. We are going to see Craig just try and get in there. They have managed to get the break for now. Dinosaur just trying his best, trying to defend against 4 people, but going to be a little bit too late in the end. Clyde going to lock in their third now in a very, very fast round, actually.
Yep, super fast. You might notice there, folks, that Claymores, they didn't change their strategy based on the previous round. They clocked that Kestrels did try a home hill strat, but they didn't, let that influence their own strategy. They played the base strategy, went through the middle, got all the comms out, and they knew exactly, I would say within 5 seconds, what the strategy of the opposition was, and they reacted perfectly to the strat change over at that B hill. Solidarity once again with a weapon placement.
I hope to see something large. It looks like he's hovering the... oh, the claw!
I love
That's
it.
one that we've not seen
at
all, to be honest, both here in Belong and in the Pro League. It just doesn't get placed down, so fantastic to see Clyde coming in with something a bit out the blue, I say.
Yeah.
But very, very interesting weapon.
Lethal weapon, mind you.
A lethal weapon.
It's not just simply the swarm version of the Retrolancer, if you will. It is it's something that is, especially with a mouse, I will say, it is filthy. But we do have the M-bar going down on the opposite side for the Kestrels, and they got access to that off spawn. Only 3 shots, mind you, so Solidarity has to be careful as that M-bar is aiming at them. Might have noticed, folks, that shot grenade, that electricity field there was thrown in the mix.
I'd love to find Agonize now and see what he's doing with his claw. He did actually get taken down to about 1%, so we'll see what happens here. Solidarity on the defense now, looking for his second, gets the double, actually a little bit of help from his team there. Savvy coming in with the support, and now the push is on. They're going to push forward. The claw is out as well from Agonize, just laying down that supporting fire, getting people so red now. And you can see it there, actually, the orange glow. What a weapon.
And with Skillsy being taken out there, I expect the COG side to slow things down and not actually go for that triple cap. Instead, the claw is just going to hold the ground. You saw how much damage that was putting out from Agonize, and an amazing skin of that. On top of that golden, that gilded bed. You love to see it. Savvy just behind as well, and you can hear that claw just being fired away. And he's going to return his Agonize down the middle. COG side still just holding map control.
That they are. Bit of a longer round actually now. Craighaven trying to hold out here. We do see Shadow Master as well. Just get taken out in the end by Skillsy. Now Lazarus picks up one as well. Solidarity's going to clean that one up. Gets the headshot there. Craig now pushing around.
You're blocking my shot.
Trying to get that second shot off. Shadowmaster needs to help defend here. Lancer's going to come out. In the end, gets taken out. Solidarity looking for two. Looks to get two. Tries to get the third. Gets taken out in the end, and Skillsy's there to clean up. Domination's going to tick in. I don't think Craig Avon are anywhere near. No, they're not. They're going to get taken out. 4-0 now, match point for Clyde Claymores.
Yeah, a deserved round there, Alex. It was quite a bit slower than we're used to here at Belong. But boy, did they play that well. You can see the elimination difference starting to come in along with that, that round differential of 4-0. Solidarity there was the opener, getting 3 eliminations, I believe, in that last push, giving the numbers advantage to ensure that that triple cap. Long shot being placed now, where nades usually spawn, frag grenades in ranked. In public matchmaking, and that's going to be an interesting little play. I think you expect to see Solidarity actually run for that through the middle as he's been playing. We are at the second half though. E, F and D hills are upon us as hills swap round. Now the central hill will be on that bridge, that former home street, and the home street now for the second half, as you hear us call it out as commentators, will be on the train tracks.
Solidarity now looking for the headshot, looking for the highlight reel play. Isn't able to find anything just yet. Honestly, needs to get moving, needs to be making a bit more use of that power weapon. Tries to go for the shot on the roll there, but doesn't manage to connect. Does get a nice shot with a Nasher, and this looks like it could be it here for the Craighaven Kestrels. That Agonize coming in with the claw once again, gets the down on Belong Craigo 6. And now the lock-in is going to come in. This should be the round. This should be Clyde Claymores going through, continuing their unbeaten streak.
Yeah, 44 seconds, that last one. I do mention the round time limit each and every time, just to highlight how quick, how formidable these teams can be in taking the round victory. You see the MVP there, Solidarity. And holding his last sniper there, which he had a little bit of fun with, I think, just a little bit.
A little bit.
But his team didn't really give him enough time to start popping heads, if you will. But
yeah.
I mean, I like the weapon placements though. They were kind of varied at this point in time. Usually it's just utility throughout. They wanted to experiment a little bit, have a little bit of fun. In the end, they had the claw, they had the ember, and they had the long shot. Did the cog side. Something tells me they didn't actually need them, but they still made use out of them anyway, and it's nice to see them on the field.
It's also nice to see different weapons come into play. Usually what we see, in those big drops in the middle is a boom shot or a drop shot, right? Something very, very impactful that if you win the fight, you win the round.
Yeah.
These new weapons coming in, the claw coming in, always good to see, and I appreciate Clyde going for something a little bit out of the ordinary there.
Absolutely. And it's no doubt as well that if push came to shove, I think they'd be able to utilize them effectively.
Agonize was definitely utilizing it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. 100%. And the snipe as well, the ember, it's really great to see.
It is.
I mean, it was a 5-0 in the end, Alex. Again, as casters have to bite our lip a little bit, or bite our tongue on the predictions. I think we're trying to just push these teams to a more close match, but in the end, if you have such a formidable team and you have the experience and you have the performance on the day, like Clyde just showed they do very much have, 5-0 can happen in Gears of War, can't it?
It can. We've seen it, grassroots all the way through to top level LAN play, with the Pro League, and honestly, fair play to Craighaven. They gave it their all. They kept at it. They got a lot of kills. We've seen some 5-0s in this tournament where it's been very, very one-sided, but we did see some more extended rounds in this one and some back and forth as well in some of the defenses. So fair play to Craighaven, but congratulations to Clyde.
Yeah, and I think the extended rounds that we did see is actually as much of a testament to the opposition holding out as it is Clyde, and actually delaying that. They had power weapons. I think it was one round in particular, it was 1 minute 45, I want to say, around that area, and you saw the claw usage. They lost a player in the form of Skillsy who went for that flank, but the other team didn't just try and fly through and were like, no, we need to get our numbers back. They didn't panic. They waited, slowed it down, waited for all the respawns to come in, abused that map control, and then went in once all the pieces of the puzzle, if you will, were aligned. It's very nice to see.
Yeah, and looking at Clyde as a team as well, definitely looking like a contender. We thought they might be up there with the likes of Manchester. After watching that performance, I think they are. I think they're going to have a very good game when they match up. Probably in the latter stages, as we head to Insomnia. But we'll see how it goes later down the round. We are going to see that Manchester team up next, obviously.
Absolutely. I think we have I want to say 4 strong teams, 4 like outliers, if you will, at least maybe more. At this point, we can say that much, and I think 2 of those teams are coming up next: Guardians versus Manchester Swarm. Manchester Swarm is our favourite for that roster, of course, and can't wait to get into that one, guys. We will be back after this break to see that very game. This might be the best game we've had so far, and the closest one of that.
We'll see.
Do not go anywhere. We'll be back very soon.
Dragging me to the ground. But I would try to get there, and I would try to be there. So please don't keep me waiting. So I stop hesitating. Life keeps on dragging us down. We hang on so we don't drown. I feel like I'm falling apart without you. Life keeps on dragging us down. We hang on so we don't drown. I feel like I'm falling apart. without you. Life keeps on dragging us down. We hang on so we don't drown. I feel like I'm falling apart without you. Life keeps on dragging us down. We hang on so we don't drown. I feel like I'm falling apart without you.
Welcome back, folks, to the Gears 5 Arena Clash. Boy, oh boy, we hope to have our best game yet, Alex.
Yep.
It is the Guardians versus the Swarm, Tyneside versus Manchester, back in England. Not Wales, unfortunately. I
Oh.
wish,
Next
one
time.
day we will have more Welsh teams, I'm sure. But I'm going to root for the Cardiff Saints throughout this process. But in terms of favourites, let's talk about, based on merit, we expect the Swarm to be the winners of this match. We don't know by how much, but they're definitely the favourites, and I think there's good reason to think that, Alex.
Yes, I believe that's true. I think the Manchester Swarm team are a fantastic team, but I think they've got some good opposition against them. And we talked about it earlier. Who are the couple of teams that are going to sneak into that playoffs at the end with the other top 4 teams, as we put it.
Yeah.
And honestly, Tyneside are in that list, right? They are one of the teams that currently are sat right up at the top of the table of Group A, and they're looking very, very strong themselves.
Yeah, we'll go to the rosters now, but something I want to mention is that Guardians are top of the ladder, the top of their group, if you will, above Swarm. So on paper, they are they're in a very comfortable position. The question is, let's put that into practice against perhaps the most formidable team. Here are the rosters here who we're bigging up at this point. Manchester Swarm, Merked, Dobby, J-Tids, Ash, Extrusion, and we have J-Rage as the coach. Tyneside Guardians, meanwhile, Spartan Dan, McBride, Scrub, Mike, Uno Dos Tres, I love that name, Lil Doob, of course, and Lieutenant Lemon. Alex, I mean, what more do we need to say? Let's start with Manchester Swarm, shall we?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked a lot about Manchester Swarm. They're a very, history team. They're a very good team. They've been dominant in all their games so far. I don't think they've lost a round yet, unless they lost a round in the previous round matchup. And they are, they're one of the best teams in this whole clash, if not the country. So, fantastic team to watch. If you're going to watch some Gears of War, watch Manchester Swarm. And on the other side, Tyneside Guardians, Lieutenant Lemon down there. That's the player of the week from last week. We saw them play. We saw them win 5-0. They had a fantastic appearance last time around. Mike was, slaying left, right, and centre. And honestly, Tyneside, they have some fantastic players on their roster. They also looked like one of the rosters that, realistically, had the best communication, right? They were working with each other, they were rotating around the map correctly, and honestly, Tyneside, they looked good last week.
And here's the thing as well, I think we nailed home actually how good Manchester Swarm is. Very briefly, there's some very good players in there. Ash, for example, and their coach, Jay Rage, formerly in the best team in Europe. Current, and that roster has, of course, at this point in time, still the best team in Europe, albeit with a different set of players.
True.
So the pedigree is there. You can't really get much better than that at this point in this competitive environment. But in terms of belong, in terms of this, this ecosystem, if you will, that we've now got in front of us, 5-0. Neither of these teams have dropped a round this whole time.
Really? So both teams are 5-0.
One team is about to lose their round streak, and one team, not only that, is obviously going to put have an L next to their record.
So this determines that number one spot pretty much in Group A.
It does, and I think if you're Swarm, that's a good thing for you guys. You're like, hey, we now are able to assert ourselves as potentially the best team. Meanwhile, Guardians, they have a legacy being built up now.
It's true.
And they want to prove that they deserve the top spot. And there's a lot of riding on this match as a result, and it's going to be quite hype, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right, actually. I think they're in for a challenger, Manchester Swarm, this time around. It's probably, minus actually Stratford and Sutton, it's probably going to be the best team they play in the group stage, at least.
I think so.
And honestly, it's the first time they're going to be tested on stream, at least. We saw them in the first week. We saw how very, very good they were. They played Asylum. They came in. They rocked through the bottom of Train Yard. And realistically, they were just very, very good and very, very coordinated. This time around, though, we're going to go to a different map. We're going to go to Training Grounds, which is a little bit different. But it is also a map where you need your wits about you, right? You need to be talking, and you need to make sure that your whole team is playing on the same page, because otherwise you can get flanked, you can get players looping in behind you. So the communication is going to be key here.
Yeah, just like Asylum, of course, keep an eye on that middle point, because that can flank either side, essentially. Very important. 3-lane system, I guess. We can break it down on a most basic level in Training Grounds. But there's a height advantage involved in this map, unlike Asylum. A big, significant chunk of the map is literally that overlook. And as the map loads in, folks, let's just point out Training Grounds in terms of communication. There's a lot of sight lines, and there's a lot of angles you can get from very safe high point positions, not only from that overlook, that neutral point of map control that teams are battling for, but also their side, near the spawn area, the towers, if you will. They're usually called out because they literally have that much height advantage, and that will be important for both teams at such a high level between these two high-skilled teams. Comms is important.
It is indeed. Well, let's find out which of these teams is better. We are about to go into game. We are about to go into Training Grounds. We have the Manchester Swarm against the Tyneside Guardians. We're going to be on board with Spartan first as he heads down towards this B ring. Looking to get some Lancer here now on Extrusion. Great crossfire actually coming in from Tyneside, and this is fantastic. McBride picking up one, McBride picking up two now, and Manchester Swarm looks like they've already got a fight on their hands.
Immediately, they've just gone down that choke point a little bit too easily there, Alex, and immediately get lanced out. Merc taking down Mike, meanwhile, over towards that home street. We have a bit of a swap, of course. Manchester Swarm taking the home street, and Tyneside now holding out on the B hill.
It is indeed. Interesting to see no one moving up into the little pockets, but now Merc gets taken out once again, and I'm liking what I'm seeing once again from Lieutenant Lemon. They have to start moving though. They're defending this B hill with the life. What they need to be doing is getting back up onto that tower once they've got the cap. Put someone in the opposite pocket, someone on the tower, then you've got a good bit of crossfire going on, and you can also support down onto your home hill. At the moment they're playing a little bit flat, a little bit low ground, but this B hill is still in defense. Ash now, veteran leader of this Manchester Swarm team, coming in to try and help out, is very, very red, goes for the back A, misses it a little bit. J-Tids is going to help with some supporting fire, but it looks like Tyneside actually still going to keep control of this B hill. The score is even. This fight could determine a lot here in the mid-round.
Yep, Spartan Dan though, he's just jumped into a pack of wolves essentially as he's the last man out. Should have perhaps played his life there as J-Tids takes advantage. And now the B hill under control of Manchester Swarm. J-Tids just secret manning essentially, hiding around a corner if you will, in the most basic terms for players to come around into his grasp. And I think, yeah, Ash and co there, they'll be really optimizing on map control and angling down. J-Tids picking up a kill from that secret point.
Yeah, definitely so. Good veterancy actually from J-Tids there. Didn't rush across to try and get the hill, held his ground, made sure that he had, teammates in tow. Managed to find a kill, and now looking for a second one is Tids. He's going to push on McBride. McBride's going to take him out now. Dobby Libre coming in to get that down as well, but isn't cleaned up just yet. McBride is going to get revived. Lieutenant Lemon in with the break. Just throw the flashbang down. He's going to get revived now as well, and this is a good assault by Tyneside. They've rebroken. They're trying to keep the points separate. What they really need to be looking at now is where are Manchester about to rotate to? Are they about to try and take the B hill? It looks like they are. Or are they going to go to the homes?
Yeah, excellent break, excellent cap, but an immediate retake from Extrusion there. You might know him as Dylan in the esports community. A very good player, an experienced player himself, just like his teammates. Dobby going in for that kill on McBride, has a lot of damage, and he did need to try and take that as fast as he can. But meanwhile, Merc still with the angle. Ash winning his 1v just behind, and on points, it will be a Swarm victory if things stay the same. With that numbers advantage, it should stay like this for the last 5 seconds. No one in sight to break that home hill. Very good round from Manchester Swarm, but likewise a very good fight from Guardians also.
You know what? I think that's the most competitive round that we've had in the Clash so far. Absolutely. I think that was a fantastic performance by Tyneside. Likewise by Manchester, just playing that extension, getting that home hill, and that's what it came down to in the end. The points difference was made by Ash, looping around the back on the home street and making sure that he got hold of Tyneside's hill.
Yeah. Well, weapon placements are going to be crucial to optimize on here in this matchup. Ash, you can see, taking his time now, really considering what the best thing to do is. Smoke grenades going down. I'm sure he'll be utilizing them actually if he continues playing for that map control. I think that was one key factor in it all, Alex, was map control. Ash and Merc were just up top on that overlook there on that map overhead for pretty much the whole round, right, Alex?
Yep. Correct indeed. And we did see a utility coming in there as well from Manchester Swarm, so that's just going to help out. Sorry, looking at things actually, that was from Tyneside Guardians, my bad. So Tyneside actually looking to get some more utility in the smoke coming in there just to block off vision on that tower. Great kill by Ash now, looking for his third, has got 2 members down, and that's brilliant play by Manchester. That's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, Ash still making himself useful. Merc, meanwhile, winning that crucial 1v over at the map control. Going to regroup with Ash, who doesn't need any help there. He gets the up A on Lil Doob, and he'll be looking for that triple cap with his team. They have the numbers advantage, Alex, so it's definitely doable. Here comes the break, potentially. McBride trying to throw himself through the smoke. They get the break for now, but they need to get these kills. Something very difficult to be successful with when you have the caliber of the cog that you do. Meanwhile though, Guardians, they save the round by getting, or at least breaking, that B hill for now.
Yeah, Dobby in the end is going to manage to get the kill there. They are going to manage to take out Tyneside, and we see the elimination victory come through there, so all members of Tyneside eliminated at once. Actually looked like Tyneside didn't want to spawn back in there. There is, you know,
It makes
a
sense,
life
yeah.
system in Gears of War that we've not talked too much about. So every time you die, you have to spend basically a point to get a revive, right? And if you run out of those, you ain't coming back in. So sometimes actually, if the opposition are on your own home hill and they're guarding it well, it's better out actually just to let that round go to save some lives for a future round. It's all about, you know, making sure you're managing that kind of life economy, so to speak.
Especially when your spawns are staggered, right? It makes sense.
Yep.
You know, you play the odds, you're probably not going to be able to get back in time and win. Weapon placement wise though, Alex, was the incendiary grenade being placed down on the home hill for some extra lethality, if you will,
Some
rather than
firepower.
utility, and likewise firepower. Overkill down in the center. Spartan Dan picking up Ash. They've responded to that play from Ash in the previous round. They've cut off that rotation. Spartan Dan rocking a hard place though, run in front, angles left, right, and center. He really needs his team to help out, but Merc, the deciding factor there on the overlook, getting that clear angle down on the B hill. The overkill's not going to help you, McBride. The numbers advantage clearly in favour of the Swarm now. I think Merc looking for the triple cap once more.
Definitely looking for it. Has the incendiary. He's going to throw that out. Does connect and seed. Little Doob goes out. Back to the respawn queue. Mercs is going to come grab this hill, and Lieutenant Lemon with all his might going to try and get over to this hill. Does get a touch actually, but they've got to be careful here now. Tyneside. You can see Tids. He's rotating around in the top corner. Merc's going to get a kill, as is Dobby. Now it's McBride trying to defend all on his own. Just get taken down. Little Doob's back off spawn though. Just get one. Isn't able to collect the others. Swarm are going to win, and they're going to take the third round.
Excellent shotgunning there from Ash and Merc, just working together, switcheroo if you will, as their health gets depleted. Trading of shots, immediately going wide, not risking their death.
If you're Tyneside in that situation, when you get that kill on Ash, fantastic opening kill.
Yeah.
But what you need to be doing at that point for the next step in that kind of progress is getting yourself underneath the tower of Manchester. You're taking a lot of damage from the, you know, from the middle balcony. We saw Merc was up there shooting down. What you need to do, get under the tower. It means no one can shoot you from above. It means that you've got a bit of protection from the balcony as well, and it gives you just a very defensible position for that B hill. Helps you no end. That's the one step that Tyneside were missing in that opener. That if they manage to collect that and go forth with that, they'll be in a lot better state in these latter rounds.
Yeah, definitely. Back to basics for the Tyneside Guardians. You need to stick to what you know. And I think Extrusion and J Tids are going to play a bit more passive now. This is something I suspected as it got quite a bit volatile here on this B hill.
To be fair, they're losing it, right? They're losing the fight.
Yeah.
2 rounds out of 3, Tyneside have come out at the B hill on top. It's just the next segment.
Yeah, and Spartan Danny's looking for Ash in the middle.
That's a big kill by Lil Doob. That's on Home Street. Lil Doob opening up. That's taken out the incendiaries as well, so that's huge.
Oh, here he is, yep. Coming back to his home hill. As it stands, Manchester Swarm pick up eliminations left, right, and centre. Revive coming on through. There should be a simple B capture now for the Manchester Swarm, looking to take down Mike while they have the numbers advantage. But no,
Good kill by
Mike
Mike.
holds a shot, shoots over for J Tids. That's going to stop Manchester's plans in their tracks. Spartan Dan is he perhaps a little bit too quick here as Ash rotates around. He's outnumbered very quickly indeed. Perhaps could have waited a little bit for his teammates to come in.
After Little Doob got that kill, I would have liked to have seen him take the balcony to support his fight in that B team fight. He went back to his home hill, perhaps a little bit too defensive, and now it gives a little bit of a window for Manchester Swarm to push up through the middle. Manchester, you know, their experience, they will take any window you give them. They will jump through like a cat burglar.
Yes, they will. Spartan Dan finding Ash opens things up to allow his team to break that home hill. Merc does fall as well. Excellent shotgunning from Guardians. Difficult job to complete. Dobby, lethal overkill. That weapon there, spraying around, doesn't pick up a kill. Now, it is Belong who are, or Belong, there is Tyneside Guardians here.
It is Belong.
Gaming Arenas looking to get back into this round. Spartan Dan utilising that overkill. They're keeping the numbers staggered, importantly. This is something Manchester Swarm will do each and every time if given the opportunity. Mike picking up a kill on Ash as well.
Very good.
This is looking very good now for Tyneside Guardians as they go for the triple.
Yeah. This could be another kill. There goes Dobby Libre, actually. Spartan taking him out there. Fantastic use. And this could be the round coming in. This could be the end to the streak for Manchester Swarm. Ash is going to try and get one. He gets his toe in. It is denied for a second, but I think Tyneside Guardians might just lock it in. They do indeed. 3-1 now. We've got a game on our hands.
We do have exactly that, and that's the first time in a while actually that we've had not a simple 5-0, if you will. Swarm were looking very good. Manchester Swarm going into each and every single round. But yes, a great response from Tyneside Guardians. And it's not difficult. It's not an easy task, shall I
Against
say,
Manchester as
coming
well.
back against them in a triple cap scenario. They snowballed that numbers advantage all the way to the opposite side of the map.
I like this. Lil Doob getting himself a retro Lancer over at the Monument.
And that's needed, honestly, at this point in time. The initial team fight, if you will, off on that.
Well, don't forget, we're switching sides now.
Yeah, middle hill, I say that. E-hill now there as well. Slow these players down. I mean, you have to give the COG side the advantage here in the shotgun department, so you want to utilize any possible avenue that you can to slow things down.
Definitely so. On board with Ash now. We're going to jump over to Spartan, actually looking over at the B side, just fighting once again for that mid-placement weapon. Extrusion is going to push up around the flank window here. Spartan looking at him. A couple of shots in. Didn't have too much damage down. Extrusion was getting lanced though. J-Tids has opened and found Lieutenant Lemon, so it's going to be a 5v4 for the time being. J-Tids now has also got the flank. He's got one, looking for a second. Just get a bit of a roll going on there. Lil Doob, that defensive anchor once again securing the home hill. Not got many eliminations, but the eliminations have been key. That's the main thing. They've been key. They've been at the right time on the right people.
Yep, here comes Ash back on our screen on that overlook. You know someone's there. Can't see that name, mind you, as we can as casters and spectators. McBride does actually bow out. I like that. He rotates out, knowing he's outnumbered.
Yeah.
A little bit of an angle coming on through, but
Spartan's
found down, pick up the overkill.
Yeah. Found the overkill once again. Great use out of it last time around. McBride falls, so that's going to be a bit of a thorn in Tyneside side.
Oh.
And now, looking for the push. He's going to get the kill on Extrusion. Extrusion does manage to get Lieutenant Lemon in the end, and Ash also gets that great down there. And that's what you want, take out the power weapon. In fact, it's going to go over to Tids. Tids will be able to utilize this.
Such an influential weapon as well on that middle hill. Meanwhile, Domination blinking on our screens. Can McBride get there in time? No, Mercs will stop him, and Mike is not going to be able to get there in time. 4-1 the score. Manchester Swarm, again, looking like the better team in this competition. And honestly, the rounds, they haven't been, well, they've been closer than perhaps the scoreline suggests, Alex.
Yep.
And I think it was just that one last kill stack, if you will, as the COG do fill up the kill feed there in the end for that round. Spartan Dan, placement time.
It is indeed placement time. We are going to see frag grenades down at that monument side now, so an upgrade from those incendiaries.
Still only one frag grenade, so you do have to make use of that.
I think on this opening fight, though, it's very easy to just throw one down the corridor right along that top side of the map there. Just take anyone out holding a defensive kind of position.
At least knock out that cover right in front of the E-hill.
Yep.
That would be very useful, especially for this COG side, as they can then be very aggressive on that cover, knowing they will be shot down as they run forward.
Yep. On board with Ash this time around, going to be the first one into the E-hill, looking with the Lancer. He's going to get backed up by Merch with those grenades that we just talked about. In goes one. No one there, though. A bit of a waste, in my opinion.
Yep. That's the frag grenade you need to look for.
Oh, that's a good flank as well from McBride.
Yeah.
This is fantastic play, actually. Looking for a second as well. Ash is having to hightail it out. There's the back A. There's the kill. Headshot coming in. McBride going to secure that E-hill. On the other side of the map, though, it does look like Manchester, they've made their way over. They've got those home hills. So it is advantage Manchester Swarm, even though it was a great fight for Tyneside.
Yep, certainly was. I think the COG side in Manchester Swarm just rolled in expecting to have an easy take there, but no. McBride, again, amazing flank. He's going to be set up the E-hill. I think a little bit of a rotation came through for Guardians to make sure they weren't pushing elsewhere. But here comes Merc. Nice play from McBride. Can he get a second? Yes,
better.
he can. Looking for the third.
This
Darby
is
in front. No. Darby does just get one kill back before Mike takes him down. Nonetheless, fantastic play from the Guardians. A little bit behind in the score. Mike rotating now for that FL.
Yep, this is exactly what you want. You're making sure that you're decapping the points, stopping the points being, you know,
Accumulated.
Accumulated,
Yeah.
Thank you. I was too busy seeing what Spartan Dan was up to. Accumulated on the other side of the map. And I like what McBride did then as well. Noticed that the flashbang had actually been thrown long. Manchester expecting McBride to back off that cover, right, into the flashbang, but he didn't. He held his ground, went for the one shot, found the second. That's exactly what we want from McBride in that position. But Manchester Swarm, they're on the assault once again. Dobby Libre pushing up. Does get one, does get two. That's a lovely double kill. Looking for a third, no one left remaining.
Plenty of doubles so far in this very exciting matchup here on training grounds. Here comes Ash, still trying to push, not going to be able to 2v1 there. There comes Extrusion though, as he tries to make up for lost deaths here. Cog team will potentially win. 5 seconds to finish off this map in style. Extrusion gets another down, but the break comes on through courtesy of Spartan Dan. No, he's not going to go for the Y button. I thought J-Ted was going to go for the execution. Here comes the countdown, 3 seconds. Could this be it? McBride, can you do anything about it? Neither can Mike. That will be it, folks. 5-1 the final score. It wasn't as close as perhaps we'd hope in terms of round count. Boy, was that exciting, Alex.
It was exciting. The rounds were close. We had plenty of double kills. And honestly, finally, someone stepped up to the plate and answered Manchester's question. Can someone take a round off them? The answer is yes.
Absolutely. And you can basically ensure that Manchester are playing their absolute best and really put them backs against the wall to ensure they win. Fantastic match, wasn't it, Alex?
It was.
I mean, I think hopefully that does say something. You know, we look at the scoreline perhaps in future and think, 5-1, it wasn't close. That was a lot closer than we're used to, right? It was a very good showing from both sides, as I mentioned just in that previous round. Lots of double kills. We had that entertainment factor in the form of shotgun players' individual skill, but also nice little flanks, good rotations. Ash through that middle in the first half. McBride, an excellent flank in the middle hill. There was definitely a lot going on in that game.
Yeah, fantastic game, actually. I'm very impressed with Tyneside, but I'm also very impressed with Manchester.
Yeah.
They looked seasoned. They looked exactly like we saw in the first round. Just an experienced team that pushed their advantages. And that was the difference, right? That was, honestly, in my opinion, the difference. When Manchester were, against the ropes a little bit, they found that flank through. They managed to find a route to that, opposition's home hill and just stop the points draining through. Whereas Tyneside, on the other hand, little bit of experience lacking in that regard. Technical skill, definitely there. Definitely have the communication going on because you saw them rotating around very well as a team. They just need a little bit more time to figure out the game mode, figure out where they're going to push their advantages, and they're a contender in my opinion.
Absolutely, and usually as casters we can point out and nitpick very major mistakes in a lot of games.
Many.
There wasn't many, was there, for that map? It was extremely entertaining. Maybe some very minor mistakes from or missed opportunities, I think is the best way to put it, for Tyneside. But it was just more so Manchester Swarm putting on the clinic, right? And they're taking thorough advantage of every opportunity presented to them in the game. Exciting cast.
Very
Best
exciting.
game so far.
Definitely
I mean, even if it was a 5-3 scoreline with other teams, I think we would have been just as hype as casters. I think personally, it was really built up. I think this game, looking at the tables, it was really setting the scene, if you will. Manchester Swarm, you mentioned it. They dropped a round. They're not flawless. They are beatable, I would argue. Difficult task though. Difficult task, and that's something we'll be looking out for in future. There you have it for this week's broadcast, folks. Tyneside Guardians do get that loss on that scoreboard. Perhaps Manchester Swarm now have shown themselves on paper to be perhaps be the best team in this league, and a fantastic day as always, Alex. Pleasure casting that one, and I think they're the team to beat. Safe to say now, Manchester Swarm. Look forward to seeing them play in the future, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please do follow the stream if you did enjoy today's broadcast, and stay tuned for Rocket League next here at Belong Arena Clash. My name is Toby Campbell. Signing out. We'll see you next week.